Hello and welcome to this channel. How are you? Hope you are doing fine. So, coming back with the today's Hindu editorial analysis on the great it's 8 March on International Women's Day. To wishing you all my female viewers a happy International Women's Day. The theme is accelerate action and let's place everyone that we should break the norms of patriarchy and work on the basis of gender equality, and this should be started from home. So let's taught everyone to be take a place of gender equality and also begin with a home. We are also going to be in a future in future parents. So everything we should everything learns from our house. So let's start this initiative, and not only one day is a female day, it's women's day, but every day should be a women's day, giving a equal respect, equal basis. Let's place to make this a women's day, a better society, for better future, because woman is power, woman in society is everything. So let's have a recap what we are going to cover today, and the session is going to be end in 30 minutes. So there are the editorials. Front page is covering about the Stalins ask other CMs to join JAG on delimination. Zelensky renew calls for air truce as a Russia strike energy facility in Ukraine. Second page about the editorials. Today's the editorials is all the female writers, and Hindus article and Hindus today's yesterday Hindus editorial is full of the it's a female articles with the writers, female writers. So basically she can they can better highlights the the issues that is going in the society. So first page we cover in the editorial about inclusion in public spaces. Second is about an equitable future of women in science in India, STEM. Fourth is about the SEBI chief patches for optimum regulations, Himalayan tragedy. Fifth is about the center puts a focus on bilateral trade relation, and it's China made a positive stride after Modi Singh 11 meet Wang. Seventh covering about Trump writes to Iran top leader asking him to open a nuclear dialogue, and eighth is covering about the world's small just a context that was I found it important, so I add it. And ninth is about a bare cupboard water Shetri comeback. It's Indian football. So these are the today's session we are going to cover it. So let's starting with the Stalins ask the other CMs to join JC on delimination. So what issue is coming from the Tamil Nadu state? Tamil Nadu CM MK Stalin invited them to joint action committee team GAC. In the letter on the Friday, despite the gravity of the issue, Center has provided neither clarity non-concrete the commitments, and the southern states of Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Mrs. Stalin hoped to be include Odisha and Punjab, West Bengal in the proposed of JAC. So the Tamil Nadu CM proposed the inaugural meeting in Chennai and wanted to chart out the collective courses forward. So it strikes the heart of federal principles together and the constitutional, legal and political dimensions. So political dimensions, dimension of this challenge, and unified advocacy is needed to secure delimitation processes, honors the role of nation building without compromising our current level representation. So they don't want delimitation commissions because the populations are low there. They have reduced their population from the northern states. So the moment they demanded a leadership collaboration, so they conducted the southern states meeting in Chennai and rising up the political differences, standing up to collective good. Next is about the Zelensky renews to call for a air truce as Russia strike the energy facility in Ukraine. So the Ukrainian energy facility on Friday renewed the calls for a mutual halt to aerial tracks for the critical infrastructure, and the halt aerial bombardment on energy facilities, building on growing rhetoric. Kiev, Washington, Moscow, the Ukrainian leader steps to a real peace should be stopping both the it's from the real peace should be stopping both the Russian Ukrainian aerial naval attack, and Ukraine is ready to go the way of peace, and they want a peace from very second of this war. So precision strike is that Russia defense minister confirmed the Friday it had carried out the precision strikes on energy, claiming and they support the Ukrainian military. So these are the Ukrainian air forces. Russia had launched 58 missiles there, and missiles and 200 drones from the country of Kharkiv in east. Location can be asked as they are already in current affairs in newses. East to Ternopil. It's east to Ternopil. Mention here. So the Kremlin responded earlier to call by Zelensky had a halt to aerial attack by ruling out temporary ceasefire. So moving to the next article is about the editorial inclusion in public spaces and how the writer has beautifully just depicted in this article. So writer is telling the ranking. There is also important data about the ranking status, everything. So I just found it very important. So I also marked important. So India is ranked 128. It's 128 among 177 countries. The women's positions in countries, so how they are more have freedom and everything. So the deeply inclined patriarchal norms that lead to violence cannot be dismantled overnight. The meaningful progresses can be made. Just wait 1 minute. So on International Women's Day today, it is crucial to reflect the fundamental but an often ignored issue is the accessibility of public spaces for a woman. So this topic is deeply studied and researched in academic worlds. Very little has changed practically. For instance, how many women do we see on roads when compared to men at a given point in time? What is the spaces they are visible and which areas they are completely avoid? How freely can women walk on streets, or do women consciously regulate their body language to conform to the male gaze? So the gender spatial control is the public spaces serve as an arena where socio-economic life thrives and evolves through the mutual experiences, shaping community, and introduce social dynamics where people cultivate political identities, build livelihood. By enthusiastically participating in everyday nuisance spaces, individuals get more integrated in societal processes. A key indicator of place safety is the presence of women freely choosing to relax and enjoy themselves. So, what impacts of women mobility? It's mobility. Studies indicate public spaces are both gendered and political, where the majority of women mostly confined to the private and domestic sphere. This gender spatial take a control in measure. There is a survey of NFHS. Data shows that 54%. It's 54%. It's 54% women of Indian women had a freedom to visit market alone, and 50% could access healthcare facilities, and 48% were permitted to travel outside their village or community. So still how women are dependent on the other family members for their needs. Still they are not given freedom for their own decisions, and also there is not any they have also not the it's not a wrong perception of family also, because the society is like, they found that it is not safe for girls, and also there is not a public accesses available in everywhere due to the safety is not here. They just scared about their daughters, that how they will stay outside. So there is also the family concerns related to the roaming outside. So there is also a labor survey report indicate that 35.6% women 35.6% women, even though rising significantly over years, unfortunately highlights that more than half of female population remain outside the workforce. And while the majority of women are confined to private spaces who are using public spaces. However, for working women, public spaces primarily serve as a transitional zone, facilitating their combination between home and workplace. Consequently, women engagement with public spaces is purpose driven and enforcing the spatial restriction. So, a space is truly safe and inclusive when women can navigate it freely and without hesitation. And they argued is why author Fadke Ranade Khan reclaiming the public space is not just a necessity, but it's about a leisure and uninhibited presence. When a woman can move without a purpose, without urgency, without having a conform to male gaze, they assert the right to belong, transforming public spaces, shared equitable environment. Simply put, the woman to be just exist in public spaces. So the issue safety is becoming a pressing concern. However, women is not confined to public places as many face threatened with their homes, which considered a comparatively safer place. Often a risk of gender violence from the multiple strangers is high. This has reinforced the protections of women and street amusement. So, as a society, we must acknowledge and accept the fact that public spaces often a sense of freedom, offer a sense of freedom, yet the freedom translates to loss of control families over a woman's mobility. The risk is inevitable, but avoiding public space is not a solution. Men are subjected to street violence as different from as well as even the nature of vulnerability is different from women. So policy level changes is that this including improving street lighting, ensuring it's a public space planning, design, lighting, ensuring safe street furniture, public toilet, installing street furniture such as benches, creating a more recreational for spaces for tailored for women. Another critical requiring government is that strengthening the public safety, stringent laws effective, and the law conviction rates remain women and they are blamed for the wrong places at wrong time. Shifting the focus from the perpetrator to victim, societies place the burden society of women. So basically, reshaping the public spaces, we can create an environment where women feel safe and truly welcome. From the built-up environment to public space to societal attitudes, every shift, no matter how gradual, bring us closer to an inclusive society where women can navigate and own public spaces freely without fear of restriction. So concluding this article here, moving to the next is one more article where female writers are uh, talking about the STEMs. What is STEM? It's a science, technology, engineering, mathematics. So also the today's Google is doodle is stem cells. The contribution of women's in the stem cell in STEM. So, how women in science navigated a minefield, education barriers such as the limited access to quality schools, generated societal norms, discouraged girls from pursuing science, technology, engineering, STEM. For those who persist, are fortunate to get past these early hurdles, cultural expectation frequently demanded. So, how the gender stereotype further restricting the opportunities, affecting hiring, promotion, funding, harassment, discrimination in academic settings, and another dimension hostility that pushed many women out of field. So, study of STEM scientists is like globally as well as in India also. We see a similar pattern like STEM scientists across 38 countries reveal a higher attritions rate for women, driven by non-inclusive workplaces, work-life balance struggle, and limited to access to high-impact research. So, this barrier can slow career progression and senior roles and professional networks, increasing dropouts. So, the postdoc to faculty to transition is especially challenging for women with a familial responsibilities, low confidence, and lack of female role models, cited as a key factor. So, these are the key factors that they are not able to come in this field. If you just you have a stereotype thinking that there is a stigma attached that only these are not these fields are only restricted to the males and not the females, and they and there is a many challenges that women have to face, their family responsibilities. So writer is just taking about the work life balance struggle and the workplaces, what are the how the dropouts rates increases at the senior post level, Still we are, it's very unfortunate that still there is no females in as a chief justice of India. Still there is a only males, so they don't get such a higher post. If you are if you're normally from a middle class and from a very low background, so there from their houses they don't get so much opportunity to go that much higher. Even from their the family pressure not supporting, uh, just having a thinking that they are just born to marriage. And uh, if this there is a patriarchal society is going where women are not allowed to do, to have a choice of their own what they want to do in their career. They just have a they just consider it as a responsibilities to their marry, to raise their kids, childbearing. So these are the, like writer is basically just having just giving the what are the highlighting the areas where women, how the women are not able to contribute in the science stems. So the barriers campaigns also the consider why it is vital to prioritize the retention of women in science. Diverse teams, creativity, innovations. More women in science also result in role model for future. Promotion, equity ensure that women can contribute fully to scientific progress, increasing society. So this conversation little over centuries. There is a one Matilda effect writer is telling about. It's Matilda effect. It's named after 19th century feminist Matilda Jocelyn Gage. It's so here there is a describes the tendency to downplay or overshadow a woman's scientific contribution in favor of their male colleagues, highlighting the historic struggle for proper recognition, women innovations. Nearly basically 200 year later, gender equality in STEM persists. Jacob Clerk, there is also example of a Jacob Clerk blink STEM. There's a leaky pipeline. It's a metaphor describing how the women's dropping out of STEM due to the biased pedagogy, a lack of role model. There's also a no lack of role models. There is no in a house who is a, because there is a lack of role models. They're not able to pursue that the dreams that they want to achieve in the STEMs. A more recent, there's also example about a more recent Stewart and ladder model across focuses on the broader structural and environmental barriers, highlighting how mentorship, access to hidden knowledge, women, minorities, marginalized group, and need to address the inequalities within the academic system. So a survey across India is that concept is particularly valuable in the context of India, where there is a conservation attitude abound. In extensive survey across 98 institutions um, is 2021, and proportion of women faculty member across is the nearly 17% ranging, and 23% in biology, only 8% in engineering. So the proportion was even lower with a higher rank institution. The data shows that women scientists were vastly underrepresented at conferences and the overlooked in career enhancing activities. The policymakers, institutions, scientific community fostering the inclusivity and early interventions engaging the parents, educator, broader environment is the key to lasting impact. So STEM at early mid career level. First one is that institutional. This institutional changes such as a flexible work option, affordable childcare, policies supporting work family integration are essential. Second is public recognition of a both terms and obstacle crucial, and showing a successful woman in science, challenging stereotype, inspiring the next generation. At the same time, the calling out the setbacks and exemplified by Vice Watch India can drive the incremental progresses. Supporting the career re-entry and break for a family for personal reasons, amplifying senior women's voice in leadership and decision making. So the Indian government gender equality in science and launched the gender aviation is Kathy, gender diverse, and the vice Kiran, the woman. There's also very schemes you have just have to go through the articles consist. I just forgot to add the slides of the schemes that are implemented for the upliftment of the women in India. So I will add, just go through the schemes. There are many schemes like Odisha state has Subhadra Yojana, Ma Behan Ladli Yojana. Jharkhand, many states implemented their own state. Beti Bachao Beti Padhao implemented in 2016. So Vice Kiran include a Department of Biotechnology, Career and Biocare. Additionally, the Indian Council of Medical Research promoting the health training women scientists, and also they recognize the scientists are empowered the valued. The journey is not only for a matter of fairness but of women in the journey of only of fairness. Example, true progress can powerful example for world to emulate. Fourth is about the SEBI chief pitches for optimum regulation. The SEBI broad new chairperson is Tuhin Kanta Pandey on the Friday expressed the regulators in the intent doing away with the redundant and outdated. Capital market is dynamic space, so change is imminent. We will not certainly not looking for maximum regulation for optimum regulation. He added that he was looking for a word to engage for stakeholders to encourage the compliances. He underlined India's strong economic fundamentals backed by policy support, structural participation, and thriving security market. So next is Himalayan tragedy. It's the impact of a natural disaster which are not predictable can be controlled. So there is a it's about earlier this week there was a news of Indian Army and Indo-Tibetan border police team whose 23 workers were stuck in a rubble of snow and ice all at a avalanche at a Mana village, Uttarakhand. 8 workers died in that area in the disaster, and which occurred as a BRO also joined in that operation. So there is a 10,060 hour admiss shift of heavy rainfall. It's uh, it's a 10,500 feet meter above, blocked by snow, and helicopters were used to evacuate the rescue. It's the Josimat Army Hospital. 5 helicopters from the Indian Army, 2 from the Indian Air Force, and one civilian copter. So there is a villages where historically been a winter migrants which been during the months, and villages is deserted, and closing of the Badrinath temple in November. It's a prone to disaster as the Himalayan stretches during this year. There is a historical experience basically because upper Himalaya stretches being prone to disaster as these practices saved the resident villagers and several of them migrants. So given strategic location villages to access that there will always be a sizable number of people engaged there. Moving to the next. It's about the center to put a focus on bilateral trade talks, not on reciprocal tariff, US. So it's a let me just go through that page. So center put the bilateral trade agreement with the US. External Affair Ministry spokesperson Randeep Jaiswal on Friday said that there is a US joint session of Congress. Trump repeated announcement of India would be included in the list of countries to face higher tariffs. And Howard Lutnick and other officials. So their governments are in the process of advancing the discussion on multi-sectoral. It's a multi-sectoral bilateral trade agreement, and the joint two sides which will work on the presenting the first tranches of the agreement tariff waivers and the by fall of September. However, they declined to comment whether Goel received any assurance or not. So the integration, there is a non-tariff. So the objective is basically the two-way trade across the goods and services market across to reduce the tariff and non-tariff barriers. Next is about the China made a positive strides after the Modi and Xi Jinping meet. So it's a foreign minister, Chinese minister Wang Yi said on Friday that he acknowledged the positive stride in bilateral ties due to after end in military standoff in eastern Ladakh, and there is a reason to support each other rather than undermine each other, undercuts each other. There is a prime minister. There is a successful meeting of the president Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Kazan in October. Questions can be asked. Where is Kazan? Just tell me in the comment box. After the both sides have earnestly followed through the important understanding and practical cooperations, so the bank retired repeated stand differences over the boundary and others should be not affected. So these are the. So moving to the next is about the duplicate voter ID issues the fixed in number 3. So there is the issue of that was going. The EC says that it will resolve the problem after discussion with the technical teams. The controversy of a duplicate ID card issued come to elector as on a Friday that will resolve in next 3 months by they are ensuring that and providing the I've already discussed about the its epic number. So what is the full form? Tell me in the comment box. So what epic consists? Basically it consists 10 digit number, 10 digit voter ID card number, and issued by Election Commission in India to each elector. So also the other states like Chief Minister Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee alleged that ruling BJP at center with her blessings, with including the voters, with the blessings of Election Commission of India, including the voters of other state in West Bengal voter list. So she cited a multiple voter with same electoral photo identity card. I've already. That's what is EPIC? Is electoral photo identity card. Electoral photo identity card. It's a full form. There is a sample of 100 electors revealed that electors with duplicate EPIC number are genuine electors. And since allotment of EPIC series year 2000 state UT ERO did not use the correct series, the issues of allotment duplicate number due to incorrect series across could not have been detected. So the party issued the letter issued on September 18 of 2008 to conducted chief elector officer. So voter list of 17 years later, ECI was along misrepresenting the voter of India very unique. Seventh is about the Trump right to Iran top leader asking him to open a nuclear dialogue. So there is a talk on preventing the development of nuclear weapon, warning it faces it impossible military action if not. So Friday there is a country would negotiate so long to supplies the maximum pressure, but he would not responding directly. So departure least in turn of hardline stance in the Republican. So they are starting their deal again from Trump writes to Iran top leader for open nuclear dialogue. So there was always a 2015 deal negotiated for former President Barack Obama known as Joint Commission JCPOA. So it imposed the plan on actions for curbs on Iran's nuclear program for sanction relief. Seeking the Organization for Islamic Cooperation and warned that Iran nuclear program cannot be destroyed through military operations. So one dead, 80 missing after boats sink of Yemen. Djibouti says IOM. There's a minority says Syria Security Force. It's a 52 allies in Latakia. Just have a one look about these news can be asked. Sri Lanka signed deal with 2.5 billion to Japan to rescue the debt and Philippines to set a agreement for troop deployment of Canada. And one more news about this comeback of the Sunil Chhetri. It's a literally this player is one of the you can say that he's just example of their dedication and the just when the where work is your worship. It's just example of the discipline toward the work, the dedication that he has with his sports. And it's unfortunate that football don't get that recognition as a cricket. So there is it's a comeback of after retirement he again regain he again come back in his team of international retirement. His 40 is a certain acknowledgement of his greatness in Indian football, but more striking late beat the paucity of quality strikers. It's a good decision. Chhetri long list of achievement in sports is one thing and out of retirement is another. So it is a good decision to form a team point view. Asking calling back 40-year-old to play a national team, but there have been a similar stars in his past. So we have been trying hard to find a good striker, but unfortunately we have not succeeded so far. Most of top striker in ICL are foreigner. So Vijay, in conversation with PTI, strike the balance between positive and mindful of the reality. So these are the, he came back because there unfortunately there is no good striker, and at the national level they are playing for their, he was a coached out of retirement by national team head coach Mullo. So since his retirement, Shetty had continued playing for Bangalore FC in ICN and also so far scored 12 goals from 23. So these are the upcoming matches. Going to be a Blue Tiger will play a friendly match against the Maldives March 19, and for the Asia is AFC Asia Cup Saudi Arabia 2027 qualifiers, and final round is Bangladesh on March 25. So India has been placed in qualifying group alongside Bangladesh, Hong Kong, Singapore Asia Cup, and the touch of tournament previous India has disappointing run, failing progresses past stages, losing all the matches. So there should be also give importance to the Indian football as the cricket has. So these are for today. So ending this session, before ending the session, let's have a summary what we have covered today. So the Stalin asked for a CMs to join a GSE on elimination. Zelensky renew call for a air truce on Russia strikes. Second is about inclusion in public spaces from editorial. Two editorials about the women's, and third is about the STEM's contribution, STEMs in women. Under CB chief patches for optimal regulations, it's Himalayan tragedy. Fifth is about the center put a focus on bilateral trade and India-China made a positive stride. Sixth, covering about the duplicate voter ID numbers issued to fix in 3 months. Seventh is about the Trump writes to Iran top leaders to asking him to open a nuclear dialogue. 8, covering the small contest from the world news. 9th is about the sports, about the comeback of Sir Chetri sir. So that's for today. Thank you for staying till the last, and give me a feedback and do suggestion. What are the changes and what are the additional things that you wanted in this editorial? So thank you for today's session. I am ending this session. Tomorrow we will meet with a new editorial. Till now, take care. Good night and study hard.